Welcome to the latest edition of the OmniTalk Spotlight Series, the series that highlights the people, the companies, and the technologies that are shaping the future of retail. I'm one of your co-hosts for today's interview, Chris Walton.
And I'm Ann Mazenga.
And today, Ann, we're going even deeper into the topic of RFID with a man who, honestly, God, Ann, this guy did his PhD research on the subject at Cambridge in England, and England.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get enough of this topic, so I'm so excited that we get to have this guest on today to really dive even deeper into it. And we know that all of you, our OmniTalk listeners, are interested as well. So let's kick this show off, Chris.
All right. So it is with great pleasure today that we introduce to you Sabesan Sithamparanathan, the founder and president of PervasID. Sabesan, welcome to OmniTalk.
Thank you. Welcome.
Sabesan, let's start with your personal history with RFID. We see Cambridge in your background. We're excited to hear all about kind of, how you got interested in this and where it all started and what led you to start this company, PervasID.
Thank you. And that's a very good question. And thank you so much for the kind introduction. So when I got into Cambridge University as a PhD student in 2007, I looked at the market challenges we faced back then. And one of the challenges in retail was the shrink continued to increase. And by 2020, the shrink was increased over 100 billion in losses. And not only shrink, but also the on-sale availability was more than 30-40%. And the customer browsing habit have changed from in-person shopping to click and collect, pick from stores and omnichannels and so on and so forth. And that's just a retail challenge. And then I looked at how about aerospace? Aerospace was crying out for so-called FOD solution. FOD stand for foreign object debris. Leaving behind a tool inside a plane engine or a wing is a massive safety risk. It could bring the plane down, and it could
and this happens a lot.
Indeed, and you get to see that.
No.
And then according to survey again, it costs 13 billion every year in direct and indirect costs for flight delays and fuel efficiencies and so on and so forth, because of these tools being left behind or foreign object being left behind the plane. And then if I now move to, let's say, another sector, which is airports and airlines, according to survey again, you could save 400 million pounds annually by tracking luggage, because luggage get misrouted or lost and so on and so forth, and you lose 400 million pounds every year because you had to pay the passengers. And then finally, the other sectors we were looking at back then was medical healthcare hospitals. Being able to locate medical devices could save billions of pounds, not to the US, but also worldwide. And of course, you can improve the health, the quality of the patient treatment you are giving to the hospital. This in particular was very dominant evident that COVID-19 have clearly highlighted. If you can ensure that the critical medical devices at the right place, you could save people's lives. So all of these, what I took as the challenge when I started my PhD. And so the PhD was, how do I solve this? And it wasn't Cambridge, I don't think I would have invented what I have invented over the years to solve this problem. Okay. And I'm pleased to say, when you start the PhD, this is a real challenge, but but the Cambridge teach you that you understand the state of art, how other people have solved it before you, so that you can hopefully this time solve it in the right way. And so during my 3-year PhD, I understood that there were passive RFID solutions. People like Intel, the technical companies like Intel and others have tried to solve solutions using passive RFID tag to do the same thing. And then you had the active RFID people have come up with their battery-powered technology solution to try and solve the same thing. And then you had the Wi-Fi technology people have trying to do the same, and then BLE, and the competitive landscapes goes on. But deep inside you, if you truly want to solve all these challenges I've just mentioned, not just in retail, but in other sectors, you got to come up with a solution which is ultra low cost. Ultimately, the price of the tag has to be below 1 cent, because then you're truly addressing every market, every food industry, every places, and it got to work. Not only the price has to be really a right price for every single item on the planet, but it also has to really work. And so my real PhD goal was to use the battery-free electronic tag, because I know the price is going to continue to come down. At that point, the price was 6-7 cents per tag. Today, is around 3 cents per tag when you buy in volume. You know that in the coming years, it's going to come down below 1 cent. I know companies are working towards that, polymer tax and so on and so forth. So my focus was really to not to bother with the tax. I know it's going to keep coming down. Can I use the off-the-shelf passive tax and do the clever thing on the reader technology, the fixed reader technology, and invent the fixed reader such that the fixed reader can work almost like an active technology. So what I have invented, this reader can read tags over 20-30 meter distance, can achieve 99 plus inventory accuracy, can locate tags, and suddenly you got a fixed reader RFID technology, performs almost like an active technology, and you change the world because you're now providing active performance at the passive economics.
Sabesan, my mind is blown already, and we're like 5 minutes into this interview.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna put your money where your mouth is on that one too in a minute. But yeah.
yeah, just explain for me a little bit, like, what was your background coming into this, and how did you decide that RFID was the technology that you were going to base your PhD on?
My background was communication, electronic communication. So
Okay.
within electronic communication, you then have multiple options. Getting to Cambridge, they give you multiple project opportunities, projects in wireless communication, project in optics, and project in electrical, project in all sorts of different areas. And one of these projects was this, purely looking at solving this problem and sponsored by the Boeing company. The Boeing and Cambridge had long collaboration, it still carries on. And in this particular project I was talking about was sponsored by Boeing. And I picked this project because this is right in my area, my sweet spot, and I ran with it.
Yeah, and there's so many applications. I mean, I think that was the thing that as you're
That was the
talking
cool
through
part in
and
the
you're
opening.
saying,
Yeah.
like hospitals and aerospace, like all of these use cases that, our audience knows retail inside and out and all the applications for RFID there. But it's fascinating as this becomes more prolific across other industries. It's great, right? All boats rise, I think, because the cost for some of these technologies hopefully will come down.
Yeah, the wrench in the airline is what I think got left. The wrench left in the airline engine is, I think, what got Ann going, whoa, hey, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I know it did me the first time I heard it too. But all right, so if I play back for the audience what you just relayed to us, Sabesan, is you're basically saying you've come up with a reader that allows for better accuracy and coverage than what is typically in the market. So let us press you on that now. How are you actually doing that? What is the engineering that's involved in you being able to do that?
So we invented a new way of addressing the physics to be able to really solve so-called blind spots. So one of the things Cambridge teaches really well is that it's all about asking the right question to solve the problem, not looking for solutions. And so one of the things I've understood very well, the state of art, how other people have tried to solve the same issue before us. And what other competitive offering have tried to do previously is that they're trying to remove those dead spot, we call it blind spot, where tag cannot be powered. Because these tags do not have internal battery, you have to wirelessly keep electrical power. You have to wirelessly power them up. If they don't get powered, the tag will not respond because the chip it hasn't got enough electrical power to respond. And so the people before us have tried to solve this problem by bringing the antenna closer and closer. So if you have antennas, say 2 meter or 3 meter between them, you are putting more stronger signal into the tag, and you're hoping the tag going to get powered, and so on and so forth. That approach will improve the blind spot, will reduce the number of blind spots in those locations, but it can never completely achieve near 100% accuracy. Because we live in a world, the reflection always going to be there. Ceiling going to reflect signals, the wall going to reflect signal, the pillars going to reflect, and the metal structure in the retail shop going to reflect. The reflection causes cancellation. The reason why blind spot occur, the signal cancel out. So often what happens, the direct signal can cancel out with the reflection. So let's imagine The direct signal give you 1, reflection give you -1, 1 minus 1 give you 0 sum. And that is what we refer to blind spot, dead spot. The coverage is really weak. And so we invented a new way of addressing this physics by using advanced signal processing in space alongside machine learning techniques to not only solve this blind spot issue so that you can achieve near 100% accuracy, but also we have increased the reliable read range to up to 20-meter distance. And then also finally, we have managed to achieve locate these tags in that large space. And putting all these together, a single system could potentially cover up to 240 square meter area, which is 2,600 square feet. If I compare apple for apple to that other industry offering, you would need 4 or 5 other competitive product to be able to cover the same area. So what this one telling us, not only is the system capable of achieving this performance in a retail shop with a very densely packed items, stock floor, sales area, or stock room, but equally, you only need far fewer hardware to cover the entire area. So suddenly you got a solution which is much lower than any other industry offering. But more importantly, it truly achieved the near 100% accuracy. It's truly give you the real-time stock and near real-time stock inventory. It truly allows you to do omnichannel because you can now locate this tag within certain radius distance. And that suddenly changed the game because up to now, if I'm just to focus on retail, retailers have been using handle readers on a weekly basis, simply because the fixed reader A never worked and B is far too expensive to install, and C therefore the ROI is not less than 12 months.
Right. So I want to go into that a little bit too, but before we do that, what is this? What is this system called that you've developed? What is the name of it?
So it called Trackmaster.
Nice.
Trackmaster. Nice.
Yes, Trackmaster. Yes, thank you.
I see what you did there. That's good.
Well,
it's almost like a GPS, a dot on the map, and you can locate anywhere. So your store turned into a GPS. Sorry, Anne, over to you.
I was just going to ask Sabesan. So, like, explain for me. You touched on it a little bit, but a lot of retailers they started their RFID journey by using the handheld scanners. Explain, like, even some examples if you have of like why this is really making an impact within a retail organization. What are the key things that they're kind of seeing and realizing like, no, this is why we had to switch. This is why we're really getting that item level accuracy and inventory accuracy that we didn't have before.
So over the last 5 to 10 years, retailers have numerous number of retailers, in particular, some of the leading retailers, you would be able to guess which one, been moved on from conventional barcode technology to a RFID technology for stock taking. And that have clearly shown that they can improve their on-shelf availability to a high 90%, typically 95% accuracy, which is what the handle is able to do. But the challenge is you had to do weekly count.
Yeah, it's not real time.
And it's not real time.
Yeah, you're still defaulted to the human scanning, right?
Exactly.
Right, that too. Yeah, good point.
Exactly. And then the next step upwards from that is, can you truly make this handle scan almost near real time? Can you do, instead of weekly inventory accuracy, instead of stock accuracy of weekly, can you do hourly? So all these retailers who've been using this passive technology, they're already spending millions of pounds on the tags. The tags already on the items. They were wondering, is any way we can change the hardware from the handle reader manual scanning to a real-time fixed reader hardware, still leverage these existing tags and get a better return? I would do the same if I were the CEO and CFO of that big corporation, right? And so what they all been dreaming for, the following numbers. They wanted to see, can we get 98% stock accuracy near real time, ideally within 1 hour or within minutes? Can we get within 1 to 2 meter radius location accuracy of locating each and every product in that sales area and the stockroom? And can we get each and every items updated if an item move from the sales area to the fitting room to the store, wherever else, can we get update within sort of minutes again, within 10 minutes? These are some of the parameters these retailers wanted to move away from the manuals weekly handheld to a near real-time tracking. And I'm pleased to say we worked with some of these retailers over the years, and hence we achieved these numbers I've just mentioned. In fact, we achieved 19, although the requirement was 98, we managed to achieve 99 plus stock accuracy within minutes. and achieve this location accuracy and achieve this update speed less than 10 minutes, so that you today have this tracking technology, not just as a one retailer, but global deployment across the many countries, not just in Europe, is across the world. We are deploying this solution for doing this.
And I want to ask you about that, because it's a pretty big pretty big credential too that I want to tell the audience about. But before that, like, explain to the audience though, why essentially does the accuracy and the coverage matter though? Like, before we go there, I want to understand, like, what does it enable the retailers to do? What is the financial value of it? Why is that so important?
Yeah. So the number one thing, that's a very good question, Chris. The number one thing in the stock inventory accuracy or stock on shelf availability. If the product is not available on shelf, the sales, you're going to potentially not having that sale, and at the end of the season, you had to mark it down. And that's almost every retailer have to do. And so the study have shown to retailers, if you increase the on-shelf ability by 2 or 3%, your sales goes by up to 1%. So there's a clear correlation between on-shelf availability versus the sales uplift. The sales uplift come from not only from in-person shopping, but also from omnichannel, click and collect and pick from source and so on and so, and deliver to home and so on and so forth. And so conventional weekly handle scanning was accurate up to the best I have seen is 97% accuracy. Although I'm sure that many people will claim it's 100%, but the reality is we have seen various numbers from various retailers, real numbers up to 97. What we were able to do, we were able to outperform the handle stock accuracy to 99 plus. So suddenly you not only have 99 plus stock accuracy, which is 2% up from the handle's inventory accuracy, because remember, 2% on sale availability improve, suddenly give you up to 1% sales uplift.
Right.
Not only that, that assume you still have a handle every day, daily scan. No retailer want to do daily scan, because if you're getting staff to do daily scan, you're really losing a lot of money on the labor.
Especially if you're shipping from store too. Like, that's a complicated task.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. So the number one things that all these retailers wondered, can we really get that sort of 98 to 99% stock accuracy within 1 hour or within sort of near minutes time, so that you can truly ensure that the on-sale availability and refurnishment. So if an item gets sold, you are constantly refurnishing the item in the stock room, in the sales area from the stock room, because they know they have the item in the stock room. They simply don't know when to put that in the on sale in the shelf, if you see what I mean. So the on-sale availability and refurnishment is the number one use case they were trying to tackle, moving away from the weekly manual scan to a almost near real-time inventory scan.
And Sabe-san, what does that look like in terms? I mean, you mentioned like it can take 12 months to get the ROI on some of the handheld readers. Like, how is that changing as you get more accurate and you have more product to sell because you have better visibility to what's on your floor or in your back room? What is that looking like in terms of like return on investment then for retailers who've invested in this versus those handheld scanners?
The more accurate it is, so 98%, let's say, gives you 10 months ROI, and 99 plus will give them maybe 8 months ROI, because the more accurate it is, because that related to sales uplift, the higher the on-sale availabilities, the higher the sales uplift is going to go, not only from in-person shopping, but also from many channels, and that increases. The second parameter is, the larger the area we cover using a single reader, the less the total ownership of the solution, because that's not only come from the hardware cost, but also installation cost. The less hardware you have, the less installation cost it costs for the store. Suddenly the whole solution become much lower cost. Suddenly the ROI looking even powerful, attractive to each and every customer. And so to date, there is no solution out there is able to achieve this performance at the right price point. And that's why the retailers are all over the moon, because it doesn't matter you got the performance okay, but the price is, far too expensive. Simply the retailer is not going to install and put it there because it's too expensive to own the whole solution.
Sabesan, you mentioned this on the outset too, and I want to touch on it quickly before I want to put your money where your mouth is here too. But you mentioned shrink at the outset. Why is near real-time inventory visibility important when you start talking about shrink?
So that's a very good question as well. So not only the refurnishment we talked about now, the second major use case is shrinkage, because the shrinkage not only come from the people who are doing the shopping, the customer, but also shrinkage come from the staff who are working in the store. And so what this enable us to do, or enable the retailers to see where the items start disappearing. Is the item start disappearing in the fitting room, the customer taking the item into the fitting room, tearing the RFID tag and stealing it?
Mhm.
Or is it happening in the back room by the staff who obviously know how to steal them? The reality is combination of both. Shrinkage happen not only by the customers but also by the staff. And so by tracking 24/7, you can start to see where this item disappearing. This is almost like a radar. It's keep watching
Yeah.
you. And where is it disappearing? And therefore, you can take the right measure. You can start to see on a Friday, 4 p.m., the same person walking in, same thing happening in the fitting room, and you would take the right measure, put the security guard next to it, and start to stop it. And you start to see similar pattern happening in the back room. This same person doing this shift keep coming and stealing an item on a certain pattern. You start to do more data analytics, more artificial intelligence, machine learning techniques to do a better analysis to understand where this string is happening, and therefore you can reduce this shrinkage.
Right. It's like the 3 W's of RFID, the where, when, and who. That's what it helps you understand. So, all right. So let's shift gears for a second now. So we've had a lot of people on our show over the years, and we've been doing this 7 years. They've made a lot of claims about RFID. We are big believers in it ourselves. But we want you to put your money where your mouth is. So point blank, why should we believe you? Because it almost sounds too good to be true, what you're talking about here. Why should we believe you?
Well, we have the leading retail customers, global blue chip customers are currently rolling out this solution globally. So this technology not just been validated as a proof of concept, as a pilot, but it's been rolling out for now a number of months globally, and that clearly showing them the KPI is being met. The technology is already achieving these numbers. I've talked about 99% stock accuracy, location accuracy, and within 10 minutes update rates, and so on and so forth. But also the solutions are giving them the ROI they've been looking for, less than 12-month ROI, because of the single reader can cover much massive area, and the installation cost much lower. And we are, if you're interested in, we can certainly introduce to the customers, the retailers, the leading retailers who are rolling out, and they will be happy to give their own feedback, direct feedback, without bias. They will give the same opinion, same feedback, and you can even see the solution in real store, so you can see and have a feel for it and believe it, and you can also pilot and put that in your store before it's become too late.
Okay, so got it. So but one thing I want to ask you though, because so basically what you said, you went from pilot stage to global rollout very quickly. And what is the size and scope of this retail? I know you can't give names, and we don't expect you to, but just for some type of measurement of how big this global retailer is, because there's a lot of retailers that say they're global, but they're not of the same size and scope of others. So how big is this retailer that you went from pilot stage to rollout with?
This is one of the largest blue chip fashion retailer. I would say one of the top 10 fashion retailer, global fashion retailer, and leading the way to really show this RFID technology can really help retailer to really solve this on-sale availability problem, and really can improve their shrinkage, and really can improve the omni channels. And these are being the leaders, really showing the way. And I'm pleased to say this early adopter have chosen PervasID, and they have compared us against other leading competitors. And I'm pleased to say we won the race, and they are rolling our solution across the globe.
Sabesan, let's talk about how we do this. How do companies start talking to you? What does a pilot process look like? Maybe walk us through that for the audience, if you don't mind.
Yeah, totally. So the process is basically, typically you'll have a pilot in 1 or 2 or 3 stores, and you might decide to do the pilot in one country to start with, say US or Europe, and then you go from 1 to maybe few more stores, say up to 10 stores that validate that this works in not just in one US countries, but also in Europe's and Asia's. And then once you got those three places validated, you then can roll it out at the rate you like. Typically, you can do as many stores as you want, as long as you have the internal IT team and everyone can support this massive deployment, because it's a big switch from Kangal scanning to suddenly all automated real time. But the staff love it, because the staff no longer have to do this weekly manual scan, right? This is press the button and they have to use it. So the process is, just to summarize, 3 to 6 month pilot, and beyond that is a rollout in whichever accuracy scale you want to move, the retailer want to move.
How do you suggest that they measure some of the like KPIs of the pilot? What does that look like?
So the way they typically measure is that they would do a manual scan in the store to see
Okay.
what accuracy the handle reader is saying, and then we'll compare against the ceiling, and often the numbers will be the handle telling is 97%, the ceiling giving 98%. There are items which are missed in the handle being seen by the ceiling, and therefore you work out what's the performance of the ceiling system. So that's how they check the stock accuracy.
Okay.
And in terms of location accuracy, you manually go and scan, and the system will say it's in this radius of this 1 to 2 meter, and you actually physically go and check, is it actually there? So that's how you do the location check, and finally you do the movement check. The system, we expect the system to update within every 10 minutes if the item gone from A to B, if you taken one item from one area to another area, and you again do a manual check and do that across number of tags and number of assets, number of items, and that's how you validate this.
What's the most immediate reaction that you see people get once they are in the middle of these pilots? I mean, is it the frequency? Is it stock accuracy? Is it like location detection? Like what is most surprising to them when you deploy a
think
pilot?
the stock and the location together, because no retailer have today seen this can be a GPS system where you follow your GPS today to walk from one new place to another place. And if you now imagine the same GPS helping you to locate what you are looking for the staff, suddenly it's a whole new world. When you truly see it on an app, on a mobile phone, able to see that, it changes their completely view. And I think that is the future, not for the retail, but also for the healthcare, for the aerospace. Every single sector going to follow the same path. It's just a matter of time.
So, and that's all happening, like this is an app that they can put on their device, or is this another like handheld thing? Like explain a little bit about how the associate is getting that information.
Yeah, so these apps get placed in the staff handle handle devices, which is Android or iPhones, and often the store will have some of these Android and iPhone. They get installed there, and they use that Android and iPhone to able to then use that in the store.
So it's all happening in one device versus having another piece of hardware that they're going around doing scanning and things like that, which is great for the associate.
Exactly.
Yeah, the best visual I can use to describe it, and I know you've seen this, and I've talked about it before, is like I think of it like I'm like a train conductor or like managing a train station, where you're watching the traffic flow. But in this example, the traffic is actually the actual apparel items and how they're moving through your store, and you can look at all of them, or you can look at the exceptions to how you want it to move, or any merchandise in your store. That's kind of how I see the store manager job evolving there, is that you're watching that map of your store at any time and you can see what's going on. It's a really cool way to think about retail, to understand the movement of people and products in space. But all right, so let's close it out. What's next for you? What are you focused on for the balance of 2024, Sabesan?
So the next thing is to really bring more benefit to the end customer, which can be retail, which benefit not only retail but also the healthcare and other sectors, by really providing even more intelligent data analytics. So can we give them information about how to do smart promotional item display, sale rate change by location. If you move this item in a different display area, how that sales increases, smart fitting room analysis, inventory shrinkage, theft by location analysis, and supply chain error analysis, and location corrections. If the item could suddenly been misplaced in a different place by a customer, can we quickly alert the staff, hey, now put it back? Right. So these are all sort of a artificial intelligence data analytics. Now that we live in a world where artificial intelligence can be a massive benefit, and how can we leverage even more with this really accurate data with artificial intelligence to give even greater business intelligence to these retailers and hospitals and other sectors we are currently focused on.
Right. Which is really cool too, because the other point about this too, and I think I start thinking about too, is like, how much do you, depending on the retail environment too, like how much do you need computer vision as part of your asset protection solution? If you have the RFID, system working to the degree and accuracy that you need, like there's, probably a walk, crawl, run approach to this whole thing there too. So, All right, man, that was awesome. That was so good. I riveted. I was on the edge of my chair from the moment you started. I know Ann was too, because I could read it in her face as you were talking. And so if people want to get in touch with you, learn more, pick your brain, possibly even start a pilot with you at PervasID, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can visit our website, www.pervasid.com, and there is a page for contact information, and you just fill that form and come to us, the inquiry come to us. Or you could go to LinkedIn and find the PervasID page and connect through us, or my personal page, Sabesan Sithamparanathan. You will find me there on LinkedIn. Or if none of these works, you can simply email me at sabesan@pervasid.com or info@pervasID.com. Any of those will come to us, and we would love to hear from you and love to help you solve your problem in your market sector.
That is incredible. Thank you so much, Sabesan of PervasID, for sitting down with us today. And wow, on behalf of all of us here at OmniTalk, please be careful out there.